The Matrix Resurrections has finally arrived in cinemas, meaning that it is also time to finally review it.
After all these years, to be going back to where it all started. Back to the Matrix.
I understand this video is a little late considering the film came out almost a month ago now, but I waited a while before making this video simply to see if my opinion had changed after thinking about the film more. Unfortunately, it did not change, and I still find this film to be incredibly disappointing. If anything, I actually dislike it more now than I did after first watching it. I thought the opening 30 minutes or so of this film were pretty good, but for me at least, that was really only on first viewing. Like many other Matrix fans you see, considering how cheap a lot of the effects looked in the trailer, I assumed that maybe there was a film made about the Matrix by Neo inside the Matrix. And the first 30 minutes were the next best thing. A successful trilogy of games created by Thomas Anderson, aka Neo. I was interested to see where the movie would take this, however it seems that the film was less interested in that than I was, and the great idea of the film starts to evolve into repetitive, frankly boring action without meaning nor purpose. In the opening of the film, I just assumed that Bugs was a program just like fake Morpheus. I'll talk more about him later. What I thought was happening was she was meant to oversee the Matrix game and fix errors. But no, apparently she was just in there to get fake Morpheus. How I got in there first place? I have no idea. The rest of the opening 30 minutes is mostly development of the great original and interesting idea of Thomas Anderson creating a series of games called The Matrix. It does get a bit meta, with Neo's business partner literally telling him that Warner Bros. Wants a fourth game, and that they would make it with or without them. I think this was just Lana Wachowski's way of preparing us for the rest of the film. But the reason I don't like the rest of Neo's journey after the first half an hour is simple. It's too easy. It's kind of like how in Doctor Who, series 11 through 13, the Doctor's companions just know everything all the time. They know things they can possibly know because it was never explained to them. That's what this Matrix film feels like to me. What I'm talking about is how easy it was for him to leave the Matrix. Over time he started very slightly to piece together that the world is the Matrix, and then Bugs just arrives and takes him out of the Matrix. The problem with this is that him discovering he's in the Matrix is not gradual, he just gets set free. And the film gets even worse from there. We are then reunited with Niobe in the real world, who gives everyone all the exposition they need. She also thinks that Neo will go back to get Trinity, so instead of waiting for him to actually do anything, she decides just to be safe to lock up the person who not only saved her life, but the life of millions of people in Zion, which is no longer called Zion because it has to be something new. Because why not? Now Zion is called Io. They simplified Zion down to just 2 of its letters. But luckily Neo escapes, via methods I don't even remember. So the new crew enters the Matrix, where we are reunited with Smith, who is not played by Hugo Weaving for reasons I do not know, and the Merovingian. This is probably the only part past the first 30 minutes that I liked. Not the scene itself, just the fact that Lambert Wilson is back playing the Merovingian, and giving as good a performance as he did in Reloaded and Revolutions. He is clearly having a lot of fun being back in the role, and that's nice to see. So this Count Agent Smith is defeated along with the Merovingian. And so they head off and find Trinity, or Tiffany now for some reason. A massive problem with this film is that they seem dead set on bringing back old characters, and then trying to make them seem like new characters. For what purpose, I do not know. But after they find Tiffany, they're interrupted by the new villain, played by one of my favourite actors, Neil Patrick Harris, and while his performance is pretty good, I'm not sure what the writers were thinking with this villain. So supposedly, the program is meant to study humans, but if that were so, why would he need a physical presence inside of the Matrix? Wouldn't it be easier to study humans if they couldn't see him? So this villain, known as the Analyst, supposedly brought Trinity and Neo back to life by literally reconstructing their whole bodies. They were not this injured in Revolutions. I mean, seriously, Neo had barely scratched on him, and only where Trinity was injured needed to be reconstructed. So why reconstruct the entire body? And to do that, they would also need to get rid of all the original body parts and replace it with identical body parts. So why bother? So after a big exposition dump with the analyst, Neo and Bugs are forcibly exited out of the Matrix because Niobe sent a ship to help them or something. After discussing a plan for a while, they all go back to the analyst, and Neo makes a deal that if he can't convince Trinity that the Matrix is fake, he will go back into the Matrix. Keep in mind that he still doesn't fully have access to his past memories, and that so far in the film, he's spent about 15 minutes of screen time with Tiffany. After going back into the Matrix, she accepts with half a second of hesitation, even though she's known him for a matter of days. But no, their love is so strong that she knows that he is telling the truth. Anyway, the analyst activates swarm mode, which essentially mind controls a bunch of people in the Matrix and forces them to attack a specific target. There are so many problems with this, the first being, why did they think this was more efficient than the agents? Also, if they're trying to stop people from knowing about the Matrix, surely a bunch of people randomly attacking 2 people in the street isn't exactly inconspicuous. Then Agent Smith reappears again to kill the analyst and save Neo. Honestly, Neo and Smith's relationship in this film can also be compared to recent Doctor Who, specifically how the Doctor treats the Daleks. In Doctor Who, the Doctor's vengeance for the Daleks was created because they forced him to destroy his own planet, to wipe them out. They made him kill his own race to be the last of his kind just to kill them. But now, the Doctor doesn't seem to mind that they are building empires and destroying civilizations. So how does this compare to the Matrix Resurrections? Well, in the Matrix Revolutions, Neo sacrifices his own life to defeat Agent Smith after Smith has killed and taken over people who Neo is very close to. But then Smith returns, and he doesn't seem to care so much that he is back, even though he has killed many of Neo's friends and crewmates. Really, it's his lazy writing to give Smith a forced redemption. So Smith defeats the analyst single-handedly, and Trinity and Neo's love conquers the entire swarm. By this point in the cinema, I was really just waiting for it to end. Oh yeah, and there's another scene that's somehow worse than this one, the last one at the very end, where the analyst, who doesn't seem to care so much that Trinity and Neo have essentially taken over the Matrix, has a surprisingly friendly conversation with Trinity and Neo. It broke what little tone there was in the film, and just left me disappointed. But before I give it its final score, let's talk about other things that I didn't like. Number 1, the action. The action in this film is absolutely awful. Normally I would blame this on the actor's age, but considering he made John Wick 3 barely 3 years ago, I don't buy it. This is easily the worst action of any Matrix film, comic or video game. Yes, including the one where you fight giant red ants. Number 2, the cinematography. Remember how in the original 3 Matrix movies there was a green filter that gave everything a very unique look to those films and made them stand out? Here though, it's just your average overlit Hollywood cinematography, so it doesn't even fit in with the other 3 Matrix films. Number 3, the length. This movie is 2 hours and 28 minutes long, making it the longest Matrix film ever. And frankly, it's 2 hours and 28 minutes too long. Number 4, the casting. Why they didn't cast the original actors I will never understand. The new ones are mostly decent, especially Yahya Abdul-Mateen too, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. But I'm not sure why they didn't even approach the original cast. So yes, I did not have a good time with The Matrix Resurrections. An overlong, dull, ill-conceived movie that tries hard to live up to the originals, but fails in all regards. Of course, I didn't hate everything about it. The opening 30 minutes I think is quite good. The performances are mostly decent, the Merovingian's return was great to see, and at the very least, this isn't a complete copy of the other Matrix films. But overall, unfortunately, I'm going to have to give The Matrix Resurrections a 4 out of 10. It is a shame that it turned out as bad as it did, and if the first 30 minutes were not as good as it would probably be significantly lower. Anyway, thanks for watching. I probably won't be uploading as much now. It most likely won't be every week from now on, but I'll try to make it at least once a month. I have a Dune review planned, as I finally got around to seeing it, and I really enjoyed it. Now that I'm finished the Matrix saga, I might also review the Terminator franchise next, or perhaps a different one. I might finish off the Star Wars films that I haven't reviewed yet, but I'll probably be able to tell you in my Dune video. Subscribe and turn on notifications so that you will be notified when I upload. Like the video if you enjoyed, and thanks for watching. See you next video. Bye.